And the Prophet ﷺ, the messenger of Allah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained for the Prophet ﷺ when they were going to make Umrah, and the disbelievers, they prevented the Prophet ﷺ from going to Mecca, and he's the messenger of Allah, and the Sahaba radiallahu anhum are with him. And it was a huge test for the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ saw in his dream that he's going for Umrah, and they were in state of ihram, going for Umrah. They're not going with any weapons or anything. They're going to make Umrah, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No weapons, nothing, wearing the clothes of al-ihram. And the disbelievers, they would refuse, and they stopped them from going. And this was before the liberation of Mecca. And this is the famous Sulh al-Hudaybiyah, the Treaty of al-Hudaybiyah. But in it, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the believers to go back, and they're not going to make Umrah this time, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised them and revealed to them Surah Al-Fath, that you will enter the Masjid Al-Haram and you will shave your heads, that means, or shorten your heads, that means that you would make the Umrah and you will fulfill the orders of Allah. But it was delayed for them for a great purpose, and many people entered into the fold of Islam and so on. But in it, and that's the point why I mentioned this incident, and that's a great lesson also for all of the believers, that the Prophet ﷺ, when this happened, and the people, they were questioning the Prophet ﷺ, aren't we have the truth? The truth is with our side. Why don't we just go forward? And they were questioning the matter, and the Prophet ﷺ would say beautiful words. He said, Inni Rasulullah, I'm the messenger of Allah, walastu a'si, and I'm not going to disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wa huwa nasiri, and He's the one that is going to give me victory. This is the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that in what? In the context of returning back to Al-Madinah after they were going to make Umrah. Something that if people see from a distance, they would think that they are defeated. That the disbelievers, they defeated the believers. The Prophet ﷺ, his words was what? I am the messenger of Allah. وَلَسْتُ أَعْصِي, I would never disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَهُوَ نَاصِرِي, He is the one that is going to give me victory, no doubt. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave victory to the Prophet ﷺ. So to think that we can dictate how to live our life according to our own desires, then we're not then slaves of Allah. A slave means that they do the best they can, they are obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and having full certainty in the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that it's definitely, no doubt it will come, and leaving the matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why when the ulama, they talk about the different types of victory in this life, whether it's a person deserves it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it means for it, like as we heard in the verses and so on. If you're obedient to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you victory and help and so on. And there's a level of help also and being victorious that a person doesn't deserve it, but it's by the bounty of Allah. And that's something else also. That's something that a person should have good expectations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And going back to our personal level and to take from this, to have the proper understanding of things, not to be defeated when a person hears the news and all of this. Defeatism comes within oneself, from the hearts, when the hearts will give up, or the hearts become in disparity from the mercy of Allah. This is all evil, and the person should have that strength in the heart, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that runs the affairs of all of the human beings. But it's the sunnah, it's the ways of Allah that never changes, and the more the person gains knowledge, the more that he would see it perfectly fits the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.